D product, and then you price it according to the price of grade A. Meaning that if I take it into the local language, there are products that we call original and others which we call gonga. So selling a gonga product at a premium price is overpricing. That is a bad business ethic. Why? Because the price of a commodity should speak volumes. It should determine, or it should give an indication to the person that is buying as to whether that product is authentic or whether it is a gonga product. Sometimes we buy gonga products because we know that the lifespan of this product is short and you are just using it for convenience. So don't price commodities in such a way that we are going to deceive the customer or the buyer. So overpricing is a bad ethic. Let us price our hardware products correctly. Our geysers must be priced correctly, because when you buy a geyser for your house, you want a geyser that is authentic, that is going to last for many years, and a geyser where when you heat your water in that geyser, you are going to have, many family members will bath hot water without the quality of the water being compromised. So overpricing is a bad ethic, and that is supposed to be checked. Let us value our products properly. Let us price them properly so that we can have repeat business from our customers.
Sure. The next bad ethic is selling underweight or poor quality goods. Underweight goods. This is cheating customers by selling goods that weigh less than what is legally prescribed, or goods for poor quality. An example: when you go in the market, those who use meters to measure, is it carpenter, is it beans, mention them, is it groundnuts, you will find at times those who are fond of using bad habits or bad ethics, they tend to manipulate that container, make it smaller by maybe, putting a layer in that meter, so that the volume becomes smaller. Usually they use candle. They will melt that candle and make sure that the volume is reduced. That in itself is a bad habit, because now you are stealing from the customer. Instead of it being a full meter, it will be 3/4 of a meter or even half of the meter, because of that stuff that you have put under there. The others, at one time, this one I even witnessed, the millers. They sell milli meal at 25 kg. But one time I was moving with inspectors, and they randomly sampled some milli meal in a shop. They found that milli meal, instead of it weighing exactly 25 kg, it weighed 20 kg, which means there was 5 kg which was removed from there. This was followed up, and the miller was found not to be at fault, but instead it was the retailer who had a tendency of repackaging. He will buy them from the miller, written 25 kg, but when he reaches at his shop, he opens it up and removes 5 kg from there. That is stealing from your customers. Such is a very bad habit, and it should not be condoned. And you, as a business person, when you are found, because that is theft, apart from your name being messed up, if the inspectors follow it up and find that this is what you have been doing, you may be reported to the authorities, who will arrest you for stealing from customers. So that is one other example of selling, underweight products. Others are actually poor quality of goods. Instead of your bag, which is labeled as breakfast meal, you'll find the product which is there is not breakfast meal. It is maybe, there is this one which they call super roller, but it's labeled breakfast meal, and it is sold at the price of breakfast meal. That is a poor quality good. So indeed, for us as business people, let us desist from these poor practices of cheating our customers by selling underweight or bad goods.
Excellent. The example that you have given, sir,
Yes,
about selling underweight meal. I saw that. I think it has been on social media for the past 2 or 3 weeks, where there is a picture of this. It's a video actually of this person who got a bag of meal and put it on a scale. That bag of meal is a 25 kg bag and labeled. And there is a certain milling company there. But when you look at the weight on the scale, very true, it was 20 kg.
Yes.
So meaning that even some millers are doing that. That is very unfortunate. Those are bad ethics, and we really need to desist from that. So you can imagine how badly the reputation of that milling company has been dented. It is all over social media.
Yes.
So these, dear learners, are real issues. Let us desist from them if our businesses are going to survive.
Indeed.
Let people say that company or that trader sells authentic goods. Their 25 kg is really 25 kg. And you'll see how people will be flocking to your business. Well, let's continue with examples of bad business ethics. The other one, which is a bad example, a bad business ethic, is smuggling. What is smuggling? Smuggling is either illegally bringing goods into the country or illegally taking goods out of the country. This is a bad practice. It's a bad ethic. Why is it a bad ethic? When you smuggle, first of all, that is a criminal activity because it has a negative ripple effect on the country, on the economy. When you bring goods into the country illegally, it simply means that you are not paying the necessary duties that you are supposed to pay at the customs. The country will lose in terms of revenue. And when our services in the country are compromised, we, the same smugglers, will be the first ones to complain. Because when you pay that duty, that is the money that goes into government coffers, and government is able to distribute that money into the various necessary services that are needed in that country. So it is a form of paying tax. So let us desist from smuggling. Now, this is another, we can give examples of this smuggling, real examples. We will not mention names, but we have heard of people that have been smuggling mealie meal out of Zambia into neighboring countries. That is a very bad practice. Let us desist from smuggling. Our government now has permitted the exportation of maize.
Yes.
So all you need to do is, when you have a consignment of maize, go to the Ministry of Agriculture. Ask them to say, I need you to help me with information on how I can export maize. And they will direct you to the right offices. You will pay certain fees. They will give you a license, an export permit, and you can be able to export your maize. So government will benefit, your business will also benefit, and you will take your maize through the border in broad daylight without anyone actually, making your life hard, because you are exporting legally. Smuggling is temporal. There are people who have smuggled goods into neighboring countries 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, but one day it will backfire. We have seen on TV where truckloads have been impounded. What they do is, when they catch you smuggling, that truck is impounded and is forfeited to the state. So meaning that that truck that you have hired, the one who has accepted to help you smuggle, is also a smuggler. And that truck, which costs maybe 1.5 million kwacha, is seized by the government and is auctioned at a very cheap price. Dear learners, is it necessary to take such a risk? Or is it better to pay the necessary fees, and we are freely going to export our products into neighboring countries, and that kind of practice is sustainable for your business? So what are we saying? Smuggling is bad for your business. It is bad for the country, bad for the economy. It is bad for your reputation. Let us avoid smuggling goods into the country or smuggling goods out of the country.
Thank you. The next bad ethic that we are going to look at is unfair competition. Unfair competition. Competition in business is good, but if it becomes unfair, then it ceases to be good. For example, unfair competition could be in ways of maliciously damaging another person's business reputation. Around Solwezi here, at one time, we heard of a shop where, the other competitors spread malicious, messages the shop will be seen by this man. But now what they were saying was, you see, in that shop, immediately you step in the doorway, all your clothes actually will come out. You know, you will be naked. And that man there will be seeing your nakedness. Actually, he sees you, though you are in your clothes, but he sees you naked, just the way you were born. You see, people, especially ladies, started avoiding that business premises. So that is what we are saying. That is unfair competition. Because when these possible buyers start shunning that shop, they go to other shops. Meaning this shop or this business person will lose customers. So that is a bad effect. I mean, a bad ethic by unfairly competing. Others, there was also another, story which was roaming. This who brew munkoyo or this local brew. There was rumor going because this person who was selling this munkoyo had a lot of customers. Their munkoyo was very good. So now the competitors decided to damage his reputation. So what did they say? They said, you see those drums there that you see, and he usually, steers the munkoyo there using, that big spoon. They were saying that spoon, at the bottom of it, there is a palm of a dead person, which is dried, then it is attached to that. And when they brew, that is the thing that causes people. And when you taste the munkoyo, you feel actually this is the best munkoyo I have ever tasted. That was simply rumor, and they did that in order to damage the reputation of this business person. So let us, as business people, desist from unfair competition, because one, you are damaging your friend, which is very bad. Just imagine if it were your company and they say that. You can imagine, because this is stuff that people are drinking, and you tell them there is that bad thing which they are using there. Are they going to drink that? They won't. Others will even start forcing themselves to vomit. And you are killing the business for your friend. So let us do our competition by improving the way you are doing business. If your friend there seems to have more customers, find out what is it that is making him have many customers. Maybe it's the way he receives his customers. Then improve on that. That's the only way you can attract customers to come to your premises. So let's desist from damaging the reputation of our friends. That is a bad ethics.
Indeed, unfair competition. Another example I can give about unfair competition where, there was attempted malicious damage. And in fact, that company had to spend millions of kwacha to rebuild their reputation. There's a certain company in Zambia which has a chain of butcheries. And there were rumors in the past about this company being in the habit of using chemicals that are used to preserve dead bodies, to import their meats into the country. Okay, so there's a chemical that they were naming called aldehyde and so forth. And rumors went round, and that company lost a lot of business. But tests were conducted, and it was discovered that that was just malicious damage. So that is unfair competition. It is very damaging to other people's businesses. That company spent millions of kwacha just to rebuild the confidence that they have built over the years again, with regards to the general public. So unfair competition, whether it is for small businesses, it is very bad.
Yes.
Let us desist from unfair competition in the markets. Let's desist from it wherever we operate from, and let us do business very, very fairly. And we are going to see that, we will be doing business in a very, very healthy environment. Okay. The other bad ethic, another example of bad ethics is what we call hoarding. Hoarding is HOARDING, to hoard. Now, this is actually practiced mostly by the bigger companies, the bigger entrepreneurs, the bigger traders. Hoarding is hiding commodities that are in short supply for the purpose of selling them at an exorbitant or at a higher price. One example that I will give is that when some filling station owners, not all of them, when some filling station owners catch wind of an impending price increase, what do? They will stop selling their fuel, pretending that they have run out of stock. And when the new price is announced, they will now sell the old stock at the new price. That is hoarding, and this has devastating effects on the economy. So let us desist from hoarding goods, because when we hoard goods, it simply means that we have put certain activities in the economy on hold, because we depend, for instance, on fuel for everything. We depend on fuel for our transportation of goods, transportation of passengers. We depend on fuel as a backup for industry and so forth. When we disturb the flow of fuel, we are disturbing the flow of capital, business opportunities into the economy. And that is actually a very, very bad practice. So hoarding is hiding commodities that are in short supply, or that are going to be perceived to be more expensive after a few hours. That's a bad practice, and let us desist from that practice.
Sure. The next bad ethic is tying contracts. Tying contracts. This simply means forcing customers to buy products they do not need in order for them to buy what they need. Okay? So, for example, you are in a shop situation, you sell sugar. Then, just because you want even your bread to be sold, then you say whoever wants to buy sugar should also buy a loaf of bread, meaning you are tying that contract. To buy sugar, since you are the only one with the sugar in that area, then you attach sugar, a loaf of bread. That is wrong. Actually, it used to happen recently in
or to avoid meeting a legal obligation. This is actually a bad ethic. Whether we are workers in the private sector, whether we are workers in the public sector or private sector, wherever we are working, or when we are doing business, we are contractors or whatever it is, let us avoid bribes or kickbacks. They are detrimental to the economy. It's a crime, and we have heard how people are persecuted. They are prosecuted. You are going to be clever for some time, but it comes back, and you find that people's assets are being seized. It's not a good thing for your business. I would rather remain a small or medium-sized business and everything there is clean, and I don't have to worry about the anti-corruption commission, the police, because I do business in a transparent manner instead of paying for you to get a favor. That is temporal, but it is detrimental to your business, and your business can even close permanently when your image is dented in that way. So bribes and kickbacks should be avoided. They are negative because they also have a tendency to block others from obtaining, certain business opportunities. Because now when you start paying bribes, it simply means that you are being part and parcel of a cartel. You know what a cartel is? A cartel is now a syndicate of a few people that are secretly doing illegal activities so that business is only flowing to that group of people, business people. They are the ones who are doing well, but because their business is founded on a wrong foundation of bribes and kickbacks, it will not benefit the general populace. It is only going to be for a few people, and the motive is very selfish, and therefore they block opportunities and they affect the economy in such a negative manner. So let us avoid bribes and or kickbacks, because this is actually a very bad business ethic situation. Well, dear learners, we have looked at a few. This is not an exhaustive list. These are just examples of some of the most common bad ethical practices in business. So, what have we looked at? The first one that we have looked at is overpricing. Let us not overprice our goods and services. We looked at selling underweight goods. This is very common in Zambia. Let us desist from cheating customers. Let us sell goods that weigh the correct measurements. Smuggling is a bad ethic, and we have said that this actually robs the country of revenue, and it is also a crime, and your business may end up losing completely, because once the law catches up, your goods will be seized, and depending on what you are smuggling, it is even possible to go to jail. We also look at unfair competition. Unfair competition in the form of malicious damage to another person's business or reputation. This is a bad ethic, and we are saying, let us desist from that. Let us encourage other businesses that are coming up to also thrive, so that together we can grow there are so many opportunities in this country, in this continent, in this world, that when you bring others to the top, you cannot exhaust those opportunities at the top. So don't be unfair to that farmer that is coming up. Mr. Mutesi, I like listening to a lot of international speakers who talk about opportunities in, let's say, agriculture and so forth. There's a certain YouTube channel that I was following last night. And, you know, this person was talking about how Africa has the potential to become the next destination that will become a giant in agriculture that is going to feed the world. Yes. The world now in the next maybe 20, 30 years is going to have a population of not less than 8 billion people. And Africa is the next destination where we are going to raise billionaires from agriculture. Yes. So there are opportunities in crop farming, there are opportunities in agricultural technology, there are opportunities in creating these agricultural value chains. And Africa is becoming the next giant, just like China is the giant in manufacturing. Africa will become the next giant that is going to have a thriving multi-billion-dollar agriculture sector. So why should I be, jealous of a small-scale farmer with a two-limer that is just trying to come up and do farming as a business, so that they can actually employ a few people, create a few jobs? We are talking about unemployment in the country. We cannot create employment when there is unfair competition. So let us desist from that negative practice. We talked about hoarding goods. This is something we need to emphasize to our friends, especially those that deal in volumes, big volumes of goods, products such as fuel. Let us not hoard goods. Let us be fair so that we can facilitate economic activities, because other businesses will depend on other businesses for them to run profitably. And if we are exorbitant, it simply means that we are passing on the cost to the consumer. The consumer is the one who suffers, and as you may be aware, we do not really have high-paying jobs in the country. Our country, though the economy is not too bad, businesses are not paying workers the way they're supposed to pay them because they've got their own challenges. So let's not worsen the situation by overpricing exorbitantly, by pricing exorbitantly or overpricing on goods in the name of hoarding. Then we looked at tying contracts, that is compelling or forcing customers to buy products they don't want. That is unfair. Let us give people the freedom to buy what they want to buy. When you discover that there are certain goods which don't move as fast as you want, you need to make a decision by reducing, those stocks. When you are ordering, do a survey, understand your customers, and you should know what they can consume. So just buy them in proportion to what is consumable, but don't tie the contracts so that you can sell other products which don't move. Then lastly, under examples of bad ethics, we looked at bribes and kickbacks. This is tantamount to corruption. It is a cancer. It is a bad ethic. It has actually affected the growth of our economies in the world. It's a bad practice. Let us do business in a straight way. When we do business in a straight way, we are going to spread opportunities. We are going to give opportunities to everyone. Let's avoid a situation where you are working. You work for this institution, and at the same time, you are the one who is supplying in that institution. whether we are teachers, we are headmasters, we are workers in private sector, and we are doing business, it is a bad ethic to be the one supplying that institution where you work, because that simply means that you are denying opportunities for authentic businesses that want to do business with your institution. Well, dear learners, we have looked at those negative or bad examples of business ethics. At 9:30, we shall open the phone lines. But before that, in the 10 minutes that we have, let us now look at business ethical standards. Or in other words, let us look at, some of, the practices that we need to embrace, which are in the form of good business ethics. An entrepreneur you need to always strive to adhere to ethical standards in the conduct of your business. What are the examples of these ethical standards that we need to follow as business people, as legal entities, as micro and small enterprises? What do we need to do? The first example is that we must always act within the requirements of the law. Always act within legal requirements. Why is this important? This is important because as we observe legal requirements concerning the conduct of our businesses shall become entities that are authentic, entities that are respected and respectable, and we're going to have a good reputation for our businesses. We are going to be in good standing with the law. We are going to be in good standing with the government. We are going to be in good standing with our clients. The honesty is very, very important. Okay? So we must pay special attention, therefore, to requirements such as licensing. If you are operating a trading business, you have trading premises, go to the council and pay for a trading license. That is observing the law. Pay your taxes. As a small business, do not evade tax. It's a serious offense, a very, very big offense. So when you're a small business, your tax is turnover tax at 4%. When you calculate that, you find that you pay the taxman and you remain with something in the business to help you continue running the business. What happens when you don't pay tax? When you are in the habit of evading tax, you will be investigated because the government through ZRA have got a system of tracking your revenue. That is why now they have introduced what they're calling taxpayer identification number. Your TP number is linked to your bank account. So when you deposit, when you are paid by a certain company, maybe you are a contractor, when they pay you into your account, ZRA picks it immediately. They will know that you have received 10,000 kwacha. And when you declare new returns, they will know that you are cheating. So let us be truthful with our tax. Let us observe public health. You have a restaurant business. Let us make sure that we have obtained the health permit from the council and the place is really healthy. Disinfect that restaurant regularly. Make sure there are no flies which are going to bring diseases to people eating. Let us observe public health. Let us observe business hours. Let me talk to our friends, for instance, who are in the business of selling liquor. I know that there are certain hours that government has allowed that they can operate. But what happens is that sometimes these liquor places open too early and they close too late. Those are not acceptable standards. Let's act within the requirement of the law by observing business hours.
Okay. You need to treat others with respect. These are good ethics. Ensure that you treat others with respect. From this flow, a number of expectations of behavior in respect of the interactions between organizations and individuals. These include openness, truthfulness, absence of malice or desire, or the wish to hurt others, etc. So here, as a business person, we are looking at the people that you deal with, which you do business with. The first ones are those people that you are going to buy goods from, those who sell to you. There are those that come to buy from you. These are the major players actually in your business. You have those who are going to sell to, those who will come for goods from you, and those that will sell to you. So these require to be actually make sure that you respect these in the way you talk to them, in the way you conduct your business. Say you make sure that you follow what you have agreed. So if you have said that, okay, I'm getting your goods on credit, then I will pay you in 2 days' time. Let it be so. Because that way you are going to be respected by these people that you are trading with. So ensure that there is respect to your customers. Make sure you respect your customers, be open to them, and be trustworthy, and be also truthful. Openness. We have talked of goods here that some come as grade Bs, some as grade Cs, and some as grade A. So do not actually sell a good that is grade D as a grade A. There you are not open. You make sure that it should be so. If it's grade A, you sell it as grade A. If it's grade B, let it be grade B. Then as entrepreneurs, as business persons, our customers come to us to find out on the products that we are offering. So let us be truthful. Let us be able to tell the truth about these products. That's why, as a business person, you must study your goods, know them well. Know your goods well, so that when you are asked, you should be able to give the correct answers.
Excellent. So we have heard, dear learners, that we need to treat others with respect. We should also be honest. I think my colleague has already talked about honesty. Entrepreneurs must be honest. They must be truthful in all their dealings with customers. If I have, I'm selling cabbages from the farm, I should not tell you that this is organically grown when I know very well that there were chemical fertilizers applied there. Why? Because there are people that are conscious with their health. They don't eat things anyhow. So if you have an organic farm, tell people this is organic, this is non-organic. You lose nothing. Because there are people who don't mind eating things with chemicals. So at no time should anyone feel cheated or betrayed. That is why it has become very difficult for us as Zambian entrepreneurs to penetrate the European market. They would test our products. When we say, no, this is honey, and they want you to have your honey or your beekeeping activities done in a certain place, so many kilometers from fields which use fertilizer and so forth. We must be truthful. When we say this is organic, let it be organic. Let customers entrust you with their goods or money. Be truthful. Let me give a true example of what happened. And we're going to open the phone lines. We are talking about honesty here. There is a Zambian business person who used to go to Dubai to buy goods. They went for the first time, they bought goods, they brought them. Second time, third time, they were, the owners of those goods began to open up to them, and they entrusted this business. They told him, we'll be giving you goods which you are going to sell in Zambia. You send us our money and you keep your cut. So this company was given loads of containers to come and sell. And they were selling hardware items, towels, whatever it is. When that company brought the goods into Zambia, they changed their SIM cards. They lost contact with that company in Dubai. So that company lost out, and I believe that businessman has also lost out. Because they can't go back. They can't go back. So let our customers, our suppliers, entrust us with our goods. You see, Mr. Mtesi, I always wonder the level of integrity that we see from the Japanese. Do we know, dear learners, do we know, fellow citizens, that all the cars that we see in Zambia, not even one car was manufactured here? All those vehicles we see in Zambia, most of them come from Japan. I think over 95% of vehicles in Zambia are Japanese vehicles. Do you know how we buy them? We buy them on the internet. You transfer money and they ship your vehicle. And those Japanese are very, very honest and ethical, because they'll take pictures of the vehicle at all angles. And what you see on the picture, when your car arrives, that is exactly what we'll see. If your car arrives, we know, with a missing part, a missing spare wheel, a missing mirror, just know that it was tampered with at the port. So when it comes at the port in Tanzania, then your car risks. Okay? But many times the car arrives intact. What are we trying to say? The Japanese have a set of values, and we'll be looking at values. They have invested in values. They consider values very highly, to such an extent that they are using it to grow the Japanese economy. Just trustworthiness can grow Zambia's economy. How many Zambians will deliver your goods if you pay them on the internet? Because we are even robbing each other using mobile money.
Yes.
last week, Mr. Mutes,
Mm.
there is a certain elderly gentleman that requested me for some money. And he told me that it was urgent and he needed to dispatch somebody from somewhere. And I told him to send me, the number I can use for mobile money. An elderly gentleman, respectable. I don't really know what happened. I received an SMS from his line giving me a number that I can put money in. And I sent the money in that mobile money. Fortunately, it was just a small amount, less than 500. And the following day, the gentleman phoned me and said, Tula Kupembera, we are waiting.
Oh.
Then I said, I sent. This is the number. This is the message. He said,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm one. I don't know how they hacked into his phone. And that person took the money. But I didn't have time to start following up this award because it would cost me thousands to pin down that person.
Sure.
So if we are treating ourselves in a dishonest manner, are we able to export goods on the internet as Zambia, as Zambian entrepreneurs into Europe? Can they trust us? Can they transfer money to a person they have never met from Zambia? And I tell them that I'm going to export, I'll send you these goods, they will arrive within this period of time. Dear learners, honesty is very important, and I want to insist because this topic is very, very important. And these issues of integrity, these issues of ethics have cost our economy huge sums of money, huge potential. We are not trusted as African entrepreneurs. Europeans are trusted because they have systems and they are honest. The Asians, the Japanese in particular, are trusted. In Africa, you have to really do a due diligence to know, because people have even created fake websites with fake goods. You pay and they do a scam on you. Let us learn to be honest. Let it be a culture if we are going to talk about economic and business development. Our phone lines, dear learners, are open. The number to dial is 0978 383 141. 0978 383 141. Send us a missed call and we shall call you back and we shall endeavor to answer your questions. Already we have a caller and we are going to dial them so that we can actually get their question. So let us get the first caller and get their question. Good morning, sir. Your name, please, and where you are calling us from.
My name is Daniel
Mr.
Skazwe.
Skazwe.
Yes,
Okay, from Weybridge.
yes.
What's your question, sir? Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, I've been trying to follow it up from though I was a little bit late,
Yes.
but I've come to understand something from what you just explained.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, now my question is, I heard of you giving an example of being honest and open to the client whenever you are doing business, as you just given full example of Japanese and this other European countries.
Mm.
How possible is it for me here as an African being honest? Because from the beginning, from the word go, we've never been given that trustworthy to say these Africans can do open and very genuine business, as so we say.
Mm-hmm.
Because looking at the way you are just highlighted things, I'm selling, cabbages. gets to be as big as it is.
Mm.
Are you telling me these customers who are very honest with their health one and who are very honest with what they want to have in their families are going to buy me my cabbages? And if this can be the situation, how would I survive? But for sure, as an African, I don't think there will be any point whatsoever where these customers will be honest to be open to say, no, let's buy these things because we don't care. I'm sure they will never do that. We've seen this rampant of broilers and the rise of the sale of these chickens. It has sometimes affected some of the people for their health challenges.
Mm.
And very soon, sir, we might be going back to village chicken, so to say. As in my case, I do always eat village chicken at my house. So I'm trying to find out how open, how genuine, and how am I going to put this on a platform to say, have to be open in this way. And for real, these people are going to give us that trust.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do it?
Okay.
Yes.
That is a very good and comprehensive question, my brother, Mr. Sikazwe.
Sure.
Thank you very much. We are going to endeavor to answer that question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So there is that question. In summary, Mr. Mtesi, Mr. Sikazwe is saying, how possible is it for us to be trustworthy and trusted again as Africans who are doing business? Maybe you can go first and then I'll add something.
Indeed. Trustworthiness. For people to trust you, it comes from what you do rightly. If you are going to do your business in a manner that is correct, that is right,
Mm-hmm.
then people will trust you.
Mm-hmm.
For example, those who are using organic, type of agriculture, what they do after growing
we
their
have
crop,
another caller,
okay,
so you can
I'll come
still hold the thought, sir.
Yeah.
And we are going to.
Indeed.
Hello, your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, this is Justin calling you from Masada.
Your name again?
Justin.
Justin.
Exactly.
Okay. Yes, you're welcome to the show. What's your question, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. I think to me, I always thought it's more like a contribution.
Mm-hmm.
If you go for, let's give an example of Japan, and that's one of those countries that actually where the people that actually doing business.
Mm.
The other thing that I can tell you is even here in Zambia, there are people that are honest, and so we are doing business. Don't just do it as an individual.
Mm.
If you talk of Japan, it's not everyone that is a scam, no. And when we are getting cash from them, it's not like it's from an individual. No, there's what there are companies that where if you want to sell your car, you just take it to a company. And
Mm-hmm.
that company, which is more registered as well one, and then they will sell it for you. It's not like when somebody wants to sell, you actually advertise their car. No, what they do is they want to sell, they will take it to that company which is registered as well one, and then they say it for you. Even here in Zambia, there are some companies, or even me, like if they were to bring out something to okay, fine, this year I'm growing broilers. And then those people from Japan or from America want to get, they have to make sure that they follow a genuine platform, a genuine company. So me as an individual who is selling broilers or any other vegetable, I'll actually take to that company, which is a well-trusted company. And thereafter, those guys they buy. I think that's the procedure that can actually be taken, not necessarily getting from an individual.
Exactly. Thank you for that valid contribution, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think partially he has even answered the Mr. Sikazwe's question. So we are saying, if you are dealing in organic, fertilizer, organic crops which are grown using organic fertilizer, the first thing you need to do is advertise. Let people know what you are doing. Because by mere talking, you tell them this is organically, produced. That is not enough. Advertise. Let them people come to your farm and see what you are doing. Okay? They should see what you are doing. Actually, these big companies, like if you went to ShopRite, you want to sell, for example, you want to sell cabbages to them. What they will do is they will visit your production place site to find out exactly how you produce your goods. If it's broilers, they will find out how you do that. And they will only buy from you if they are satisfied with how you produce and how you process your goods. So that is for Mr. Skazwe. Maybe you can answer.
Thank you so much. So, in addition to what my colleague has said, how possible is it to become transparent and to become trustworthy as African business people, Zambian micro entrepreneurs? It all starts with our personal values. We need to start investing in our personal values. And once we do that, we are going to create, trustworthiness amongst our people. Let me mention that our ethics are shaped by our personal values. Our values come from our families, the way we are raised, from our culture, from our population, religion, and our past experiences that we have had. So, just like my friend Justin was making a contribution, he said, not everyone in Zambia, is actually, not everyone in Zambia, I beg your pardon, is untrustworthy. We have very good people, very well-trusted people. But we need to create an environment or a system. Hello, who is calling? Your name, please, and where you're calling us from? Okay, is that Mr. Skazwe?
Mr. Skazwe.
Okay, your question, please.
I've got a business that I've grown as an engineer, very promoted
Mm-hmm.
Let me just put it this way. We're trying to complicate something, not a week to get a point out of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I received one of the Chinese man. It's a very big motor, a 30 watt.
Mm-hmm.
For me to do the running of that motor. I did, of course, give him a step by step on how I do my jobs. These are my materials. These are my workers. This is what we do. Then I said, the motor will cost me 50,000 for me to acquire the material for a motor. Then plus a 10,000 for small things that I need to apply in this motor.
Mm-hmm.
He said, my friend, I went to Anko. I found the same motor at 15,000. I calculated from the inside. It gave me that amount. Then him was saying, at Kamko, they are selling at 15,000, the same motor. Then I said, no, the problem is this. You go to Kamko, get and open that motor. Find out what is inside there. It's aluminum. I'm going to buy copper from Lusaka. I push into your motor. Then this motor will last more than this new aluminum motor that we're going to buy. This person refused and went off with the same merchandise. So looking at this, Mr. Mutesa, I'm looking at the way we people treat each other towards what somebody will request. This is a bricklayer who comes to say, my friend, these are the costings of your house. You say, my friend, you are too costly. This amount is too much. And I want to do something genuine. I've never seen even this, sorry to mention this, even these roads that we are using here in Sorezi, in Zambia, so to say, we've got some people who work small shortcuts, like they do, the road is thin, but it's not genuine. Reason is from the beginning, because we say, can you apply the quality, the needful things for me to have a concrete and long saving road? We said, my friend, you have to put it. Can you just a little bit reduce? So this person will look at how much you can afford. Then this person is going to charge you according to the way you are working, the way you are, your muscle is telling you to pay off. So this is the reason why somehow in Africa we don't have that honesty in the way we do business. In these other countries, because they have that, that level, Mr. Mutesa, you know what I'm talking about. The muscle of their finance is okay. So they may be able to understand. Even when you scam them, sometimes this person is just wasting his time. Because he will never manage to scam me a 300. This is nothing. Yeah, I wanted to give him something for him to survive. But here in Africa, it's a different thing. In Zambia in particular, it's a different thing. I can't go out there at the shawarma market. I sell my products. I tell them to say, guys, this is the situation. I understand from Justin, he was saying something like, companies, you follow up, look at the commodities, look at the materials, look at the goods. You say, okay, this one is genuine, this one is, standard. But in the case of an individual doing this business, you need to somehow protect yourself in order for you to survive. This is Africa. But as you are saying, I need to know how we are going to come out of this situation. This is the reason why I question this. Because I know from the fact that there's so many practical things that are happening out there in the community. Even at my company, when you come, Mr. Mutesa, I will tell you, this is how I do my jobs. One day we'll meet. Let me bring you some submersible pump, from your home. I will tell you, Mr. Mutesa, this is how much I'm going to cost you for me to rewind this submersible pump of yours. You say, this one is too much. It's almost close to a new one. So instead, you will go for something which is cheaper because we consider ourselves at that level. But if you ask me, why are we doing this? I'll tell you, I'm using copper. The other thing that you're going to go for is ammonia. I've been doing this, Mr. Mutesa. I've got some experience in what I'm saying. So this is the reason why I'm asking the question. Say, how are we going to put ourselves in that platform where these white, these Indians, the other people who are honest, they are the business, Japanese and the right. How are we going to go at that level? This is the reason why I'm asking this. Because I know the practical examples down there are waiting for you to go and see them, are waiting for you to answer them. So I thank you so very much, Mr. Mutesa. If you can just clarify on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Sikazwe.
Thank you.
For that question. Actually, my colleague, Mr. Mutesi, is the one who started answering the question. I'm going to add, this is Mr. Kafuta. Let me first of all say that the first thing that we need to do as Zambian small business people, maybe even medium or large businesses in Zambia, is that we need to rebuild a corporate trust. It starts with our personal values, the values which include honesty. When we begin to have many honest business people, when we begin to have many business people with high integrity, when we begin to have many small business people as a culture who take responsibility for their actions, when we begin to put in quality in our work, we are going to build a national reputation, and others are going to treat us according to that reputation. I hope you are hearing what I'm saying, Mr. Sikazo. So, Japan is what it is today because of their national values. Europe is developed and is what it is today because of their national values. And the ones who develop these countries are the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses, the large businesses. We need to do that as a country. Our reputation needs, first of all, to be revisited. And we need to create systems of authentic businesses and service providers that we can run to, that you can take your goods and they can sell for you. We are small business people, all of us, and we have dealt with people, you know, like for instance, I ask you to come and repair my TV, or I bring my TV to your shop, I bring my computer to your shop. Many Zambian SMEs, what they do is that they attempted to steal parts from that TV. They steal parts from your car. They replace it with an old part. We need to work on the issue of integrity before we can become attractive as a country of small business people, medium-sized business people who can export authentically and we can be trusted. We need to start at our small businesses that when I am keeping chickens, I am not going to inject those chickens with ARVs to make them fat. I am not going to feed my broiler chickens with pig grower to make them fat. Once we are authentic, then we will be trustworthy, and then we can rebuild our reputation as a people and as a business community in the country. I hope I have answered that question properly. There is a question, from my friend, Mr. Alex Shinjikinya. We are in the dying minutes. The topic is very interesting. I wish we could have 5 hours on deliberating on this topic because these are real issues. Mr. Alex Shinjikinya says most of the business people run away from customer duty. Is it the charge which is very high, or people just don't want to pay? I pay, for example, 1,000 kwacha for my goods at customer, and the officer issues a receipt of 600 kwacha, and he tells you what I'm just helping you because the normal charge is too high, you can't manage. What can I do, or where do I take my complaint? Again, you have heard what Mr. Shinjikinya is asking about. We need to develop a set of values. What are values? Let me even talk about the last thing. Values are what the entrepreneur believes in as being important to follow in the conduct of their business. For example, again, respect for the customer, maintenance of high quality, honesty, integrity, trustworthiness. When we are trustworthy, we are going to do things in a trustworthy manner as we deal with each other. So if I buy goods for 1,000 kwacha, give me a receipt of 1,000 kwacha. If I go, to a certain place, maybe the company has sent me to go out of town, okay? And I sleep in a hotel. If a hotel room costs me 600 kwacha, let me not bring back receipts saying it was 1,200 kwacha. Let 1,000 be 1,000. High integrity. That is the only way we are going to cure this. I hope I've answered those questions. Unfortunately, the time has run out. It is 1 minute to 10 hours. So let me conclude by saying good conduct in our dealings with customers, with suppliers, and with the general public can be of great benefit to the image of our businesses. This is an important piece of practice which can lead to a positive influence on the performance of our business enterprises. Well, dear learners, the time is 10 hours. We are going to end here for today. Thank you for following the training on radio. Thank you for participating. Thank you for those participants who have sent us those 3 questions. And I believe that as we have attempted to answer them, we have indeed helped a number of people. Business ethics and values is a very, very important topic because it relates to our day-to-day business activities. We are what we are today in business because of our values. Let me thank once again our sponsors of the training program, Kansanshi Mining PLC, for the tremendous job that they have done, they are doing of creating a platform where important information can be given to the business community. Thanks once again to Beats FM for the airtime. Until we meet again, dear learners, it is goodbye and continue listening. Thank you so much. Asante bingi. Tabuka bepi. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Well, the handout is short, but there are too many things to talk about. Because these are real issues.
It is complex.